and welcome to the Doe Show, Canada's Drag Race Season 1, Episode 5 review. I'm a rocket scientist, Ferris Fair.
And I'm Bambi Dextrous, and that don't impress me much. The girls enter the workroom, reacting to Tynomi's shocking elimination. I think Priyanka's getting a bit of a big head on her. She thinks she's gonna win the whole thing, even though she's only won one challenge so far.
After a brief message from Mother filled with absolutely ridiculous Canadianisms, Brooklyn Heights entered the room for this week's mini-challenge, which was Reading is Fundamental from Paris, Ontario is Burning.
All gloves came off in the reading challenge, with Lemon, Rita, and Jimbo doing well in the reading challenge. However, it was Lemon proving that she's not a coaster, as she read the other queens to filth.
After congratulating Lemon, Brooklyn let the queens know that it was time to prepare for Canada's first Snatch Game. Priyanka looked into her crystal ball and decided that she would do a great job of legendary psychic Miss Cleo.
And Lemon returned to her dancing roots and did a character from Dance Moms, Jojo Siwa.
Kiara put up her champagne hand and said, "Mimi, I'm first," with her impression of Mariah Carey.
And Rita Bega showed off her French roots by portraying French singer Edith Piaf.
Ilona Verley decided to do Rebecca Moore, the Court Destroyer.
And then Jimbo doing the classic Joan Rivers for Snatch Game.
Scarlet Bobo wasn't sure if they wanted to drag out their inner nanny as Fran Drescher, but ultimately decided on Liza Minnelli.
And Boa contemplated doing Rebel Wilson, but ultimately went with fake cancer survivor Gypsy Rose.
What better way to celebrate Canada's first ever drag race than having Scottish imports from HGTV, Colin and Justin, as the contestants for Snatch Game?
Well, the woman in me wishes that there was more Canadian content on the panel.
Right? Like, there was zero CanCon on that panel, which was interesting. And maybe they were trying to say that Canadians aren't funny, but as someone that's lived for many Canadian comedians that have gone on to immense popularity and fame down in the States, it was a little disappointing to me to see an entire panel filled with non-Canadian performers.
Right? As Colin and Justin said, where's Anne Murray?
Where's Shania Twain? Where's Howie Mandel? There's just, anyway, maybe they just didn't think that far, but as I say, to me it was kind of disappointing to not see a single Canadian person on the stage for the first Snatch Game of Canada. But what do I know? Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Priyanka delivered a very sleepy Miss Cleo. With a character that you can go in so many directions, Priyanka chose to go in neither direction and really didn't bring the character to life.
Yeah, and really she should have seen it coming. Lemon, on the other hand, did a fabulous performance. I really enjoyed their Jojo Siwa. It was silly, it was ridiculous, it was ridiculous. It was funny. Anyway, I had no idea who Jojo was, but I didn't need to going into it. It was that funny.
And stayed in character the entire time. Like, even in the background, she still had her moments, she was still doing things to pull focus, and we love that about her performance.
That's what you gotta do on Snatch Game.
Speaking of staying in character, or lack of character, was Kiara's portrayal of Mariah Carey. She did not land jokes, she did not have a punchline. It was a very flat portrayal of Mariah.
Yeah, I really wasn't sure what was going on there. Someone who excelled at their performance, though, was Rita Bega with their Edith Piaf. And it was crazy. Like, it was just from the second the camera was on, they were in character. Like, it was just over the top.
When she snuffed out that cigarette, I was like, like little tiny nuances to her character, but
put me back in my coffin. Like, oh my god, like, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. And yeah, I absolutely loved it.
Up next was Ilona Verley with Rebecca Moore.
The Court Destroyer.
The Court Destroyer. what can I say other than she really committed and went 100% with that character. I didn't know who this character was going into it, but made me not care. It didn't care that I didn't know who it was, because Ilona sold the hell out of that character, made me believe it, made me believe she was living that life, and did a really amazing job.
Yeah, it was fun, it was silly. Speaking of fun and silly, we had Jimbo doing Joan Rivers, and can we talk about how good that was? Oh my god, it was fabulous.
Joan.
It was fabulous, that's all I gotta say. Oh, Melissa, if you're watching, come get me, darling, please save me. I think that was my favorite.
And another one that stayed true to the character 100%.
Yes, was in character. I just wish it was a Canadian character, but it was in character. And it was really, 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 really well done.
Up next was Scarlet Bobo as Liza with a Z, because we're Canadian.
So it's funny.
And she did amazing. She had wig reveals, she had characterisms, lots of physical comedy. What can I say? Like, amazing. We do think that if we went with Fran Drescher, would she have been in the top? Would she have been safe? Who knows?
Yeah, Jeffrey even called her on it and said, like, you know, you've been safe every week, and if you choose a safe option, you're going to be safe again. She chose a safe option. She was safe again.
Yeah.
May not have done better with Fran, but might have been worth the risk. Who knows?
But still, her Liza was still phenomenal.
It was really well done. But it wasn't enough for a win.
Not enough for a win. And I felt like this was a very strong Snatch game.
Yep.
What did you think of the Snatch?
Before I give you my full opinion on the Snatch, I do want to talk about Boa's performance of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. It was fairly forgettable, honestly. It was fine, but like it didn't really teach me anything about the character. It didn't really teach me anything about the performer. I didn't know who they were beforehand. I didn't know anything about them or care about them afterwards. Meh. I personally would have rather seen Rebel Wilson, even in the few seconds we saw of them doing the Rebel Wilson character in the back. I was like, oh, that would have been
such a good choice.
So, anyway, they were safe, they were fine, whatever, but I wasn't keen. As for the entire Snatch game, I thought it was fine overall. I know we've already complained that there wasn't any Canadian characters, and that's because Canadians aren't funny. I get it. But yeah, it was good. It was a good performance. There was lots of interesting characters and everybody was having fun. But yeah, Snatch game is hit or miss for me. It just seems like a whole lot of...
It was hit or miss, but I feel like this one overall had more winning performances than other Snatch games that I can think of in the past. And this Snatch game was one to remember, as Brooklyn Heights herself said to the girls.
Up next, Canadian comedian extraordinaire Mary Walsh introduced us to A Night of 1,000 Celines. There's no fringe benefit to this body-hiding ensemble.
It's fine to dress in bed sheets, but she needs to wake up to be a threat in this competition.
She needs to start showing some courage to go beyond just the basic fashion looks.
Rita gave us a throwback this week with black and white on the runway.
I salute this Army and Navy surplus look.
Serving us Heart of the Ocean, but she forgot her flotation devices.
She's got no tits. I'm gonna pass on this pastel panty suit.
Priyanka served two top-notch looks with wedding white and solid gold.
After Scarlet Bobo and Ilona Verley were deemed safe, it was time for the judges' critiques. For the past couple of weeks, we have mentioned a few times things that have made us question some of the judges' decisions.
Yes.
This week was no different. When we looked at it, based on how they did in the Maxi Challenge and how the judges reviewed their outfits, there were some that were negatively reviewed on both, but were somehow chosen to be safe.
Safe!
So Boa, yet again, was safe and passed along to the back, which confused us. Because Priyanka, who served 2 fabulous looks and the judges really positively reviewed their looks, was somehow all of a sudden in the bottom.
I agree. They're definitely pushing Boa to the safe zone week after week, we're noticing, and it's a little bit confusing. We don't know why, but yeah, Priyanka was in the bottom this week, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I don't care how much you like someone's personality. There's no way that they should keep getting shoved to the back. I'm not a fan. I have no problem with the actual person. I have no problem with their drag, but I do not like the way that some of this judging seems to be coming off.
Normally when you're giving a critique, it's good to shed some light before you throw some shade. As you always say yourself, throw out some light, throw out some positivity before the shady comments.
Otherwise
by
it's just
some of the
darkness.
judges. Yeah.
No, it's true, and like I've given credit to Elvira Kurt for some of their writing and some of the stuff like that, but I also feel like the judges are so quick to want to get their little soundbite of humor in that they're missing out on any actual genuine critique. Coming out next, we go to Wetaskiwin, Alberta for our small town correspondent, Jennie Talia.
The Snatch Game, oh my god, the most iconic challenge in Drag Race history at all, finally has come to Canada. It was so funny. Like, I enjoyed the Snatch Game so much. My tops were obviously Rita and Jimbo. Jimbo's win was well deserved. Getting off the Snatch Game because I thought it was amazing no matter what. It was hilarious. I really thoroughly enjoyed watching it. The runway, I don't know much about Celine Dion. I know, shocker. I don't really listen to her, but I do know her looks. I do know some of the looks she's famous for, and all the looks that they produced for that runway were so good, so good. I especially really liked Boa's. I'm a huge fringe lover, so like that was my favorite look of all, but then Jimbo's was obviously stunning. I loved all the looks, honestly. They all did really well, and the lip sync was so good. I literally texted my friend after, I'm like, oh my god, did you see the lip sync? So I'm excited for the next episode. I'm excited to see if we're gonna get another fire lip sync like we did last week with Girlfriend. If we're gonna get another one just like I Drive All Night. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait for the next episode. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Genitalia. It's great to have you back on the show.
Because we don't actually get a vote, it was up to Priyanka versus Kiara with I Drove All Night by Celine Dion in the lip sync for Your Life. In what questionably could have been one of the best lip syncs of the year, Kiara was the one that was chosen to go home.
I feel like it should have been a double save.
I've actually heard quite a bit of talk about this too, and I wouldn't have been opposed to it. If this would have been the week to do it, then out of the weeks we've seen so far, this would be the week to do it. I definitely think that they both really gave something to the number.
Yeah.
I definitely thought that Priyanka sold the hell out of it, and I also thought that Kiara performed the hell out of it. So it was...
They did, and both of them have been so strong throughout the competition. They had one bad week, and then both landed in the bottom. I feel like that alone would have been justification to keep them both safe at the lip sync.
Yeah, especially when they shouldn't have been there to begin with.
They shouldn't have been. I'm sorry, I will die on that hill.
Yep, sorry Boa, we love you, but you shouldn't have been there.
Truly a high energy lip sync. The performers were both feeling it, and the judges were living. So it was a very tough decision when Kiara was chosen to go home.
But again, I do think that the right choice was made. I don't think that Kiara has been that strong throughout the competition. I kind of feel like they have coasted and they have been safe.
No.
So they've done well, and I look forward to them, and I'm not saying that they're a bad queen.
Okay, I'm getting very heated about this. I'm feeling very passionate about this. But Scarlet is gliding through the competition, whereas Kiara had like one stumble in this Snatch Game episode and is in the bottom, and thus eliminated.
Yep, but again, that is kind of what these seasons are. I mean, it is kind of the game of RuPaul, that you have to keep doing well, because if you mess up, bye-bye.
And next week's episode looks amazing. One of the judges is going to comment to the girls, looks like you finally showed up to the competition. Who do you think that could be about?
I'd say Tainomi, but I think it's a little too late for that.
It's a little too late for that. I think it could be about Scarlet Bobo, because she has been quite safe throughout the first half of Season 1. We are entering the second half of Season 1 next episode, and I think how cool would it be for Scarlet to start winning challenges, serving amazing looks on the runway, and the judges to finally start recognizing the powerhouse that she is.
If she has any chance of winning this competition, she needs to start showing up. So.
Yeah, and what a great story would that be to be like, I brought it in the second half of the season and going strong and ending with a big bang. So that's what I really want to have happen in the season for Scarlet's story. I just think that would be really amazing and a cool finish to her character arc. We'll have to find out next week to see what the girls bring and what the main challenges will be. I know I'm looking forward to it. How about you, Ferris?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good episode, I'm sure. It's going to be down to the 7, and things are definitely going to start getting tight. It's not going to take much to send someone home at this point.
Yeah. My predictions for the later half of the season will be maybe Priyanka gets a wake-up call from landing in the bottom. Maybe Priyanka's comments will shake her up a little bit, and she will be ready to go and fiery for the second half of the season.
Let's hope so, because I really think Priyanka could be the one to win this entire season.
Exactly.
She really is fabulous.
And bitch is waking up now.
I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Please comment below with your thoughts, and please share the video, like, share, subscribe, do all those kinds of crazy things. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye!